Hi, this is Freedom from Condo Planet. I want to welcome you to another episode of our video series on condos for rent in Mississauga. Today I want to address an important question. Can your landlord enter your Mississauga condo at any time? Now that you received the keys to your Mississauga condo, it's only natural for you to wonder, how much privacy are you entitled to by law? Fortunately, you'll be happy to know that there are rules in place in terms of visitations by the landlord. It's not as if the landlord can just show up at your doorstep every day unannounced. That's the good news. Okay, however, you have to understand that landlord, being the owner of the unit, is entitled to visit the condo, but there is a process that the landlord must follow. According to the Residential Tenancies Act, they must give written notice. Verbal notice is not good enough. So technically, your landlord picking up the phone and saying, hey, I want to come by later today, is technically by law not enough notice. They should give you 24 hours notice. Now, if you choose to accept verbal notice, that's an entirely different story. But by law, you can insist on written notice, and the Residential Tenancies Act is very specific as to the nature of that written notice. The letter by the landlord must state the time and the reason for their visit. If you receive proper notification, you cannot refuse the landlord's visit without creating bigger problems for yourself. In specific, if you deny the landlord's request to see their condo, the landlord could turn around and file what is known as a notice of termination of your lease on the basis of your interfering with the landlord's legal rights. So that's pretty serious. So you got to remember that as long as they follow the due process, your landlord does that, you should be reasonable and allow them access to the condo. However, if the landlord enters your home without providing that proper notification, you can turn around and file an application for illegal entry. Okay, this application for illegal entry will eventually lead to the landlord being fined by the Landlord-Tenant Board, or you being entitled to an abatement of rent. So basically a reduction of rent. This is the legality of the situation. At Condo Planet, we want you to be aware of your rights and your responsibilities. Having said that, we do want to let you know that in most cases, landlords are very reasonable, very considerate, and very responsive to their tenants' needs. So visits are usually made when something needs to be repaired. Otherwise, the landlord's usually pretty hands-off and doesn't interfere with your enjoyment of the premises. So really, not much to worry about, but if you're watching this video, you might be one of the unfortunate few that are having problems with your landlord. So we insist that you should be aware of what your rights and responsibilities are. You can always contact us here at Condo Planet, or definitely reach out to the Landlord and Tenant Board, another great resource. Thank you for tuning into this episode. We look forward to reaching out to you again. Take care.